Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Jared's Weekly Digest. I am your host, Jared. It is tremendously unfortunate that the very first episode of the show could be our very last episode as well, as the beginning of the end of the world starts tomorrow. Tomorrow, the United States will host a live election of itself. The host will be none other than recently re-elected President of the United States, Donald Trump. Some more notable bidders in the auction include Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and Jeff Bezos. If you're looking to get in on the betting action and don't have the funds to buy an entire country, don't worry. FanDuel and DraftKings are actually running a competitive program right now where you can get in on the betting. All you have to do is place a bet on who do you think of the three will win. You can use my referral code, Playing for Pennies. Okay, rather than mourn the fact that the United States is quickly becoming an oligarchy, let's look on the bright side of what these three men can bring to the table. For starters, Elon Musk has destroyed advertisers' interest in his platform, limiting the numbers of ads we see in general, and subsequently the number of rainbow-washed ads we see during the month of June, like this. If that's not doing it for you, Mark Zuckerberg has expanded hate speech on his platform. I mean free speech on his platform. And it's actually rumored that he's going to limit the pronoun options you can use to just he, him, and she, her. This may sound like a reduction in choice we can have, but hey, now you don't have to spend time thinking about what pronouns you want to use on Meta, but you can start thinking about what you want to have for dinner. I know, that really stresses me out every day. Jeff's impact on society is less clear to us right now, but if he is taking recommendations, I would like to propose censoring these types of photos when I search men's shorts on Amazon. I mean, I like men's butts just as much as the next guy. But hey, when I'm shopping online at work, something I already shouldn't be doing, this is the last thing I need on my laptop. Enough with the politics, okay? This is not how I want to start off my first show. Let's, move to something lighter. Here in Chicago, it is a crisp 7 degrees Fahrenheit outside. The company I leased my apartment from sent an email recently suggesting that all tenants keep heat at a minimum of 65 degrees and ensure no windows are open. I have a few thoughts about this. First off, 68 is hot when using heat. I like to keep it really cold when I sleep, and the heat, when I keep it on all night, makes me wake up in the morning with a sore nose like I've been bumping it at a circuit party all night long. Additionally, I don't know why it needs to be said that you should keep your windows closed during winter. I mean, it's below freezing. Who in their right mind is keeping their windows open? The answer is me. I think the cold air is great for sleeping as it forces the body to naturally enter a state of hibernation. If I'm being honest, my ideal sleeping conditions are freezing cold air, a blanket over my face so I'm breathing in air I've already exhaled, and a pair of jeans that I've worn all day. I'm being dead serious. In local news, coyotes have been out and about this month, a phenomenon I have personally witnessed firsthand. In Humboldt Park, a coyote was pulled out of an Aldi's meat and cheese section. I don't know if coyotes are as dangerous as a wolf, but if I was the person taking this video, I don't know if I would have wanted to be this close. I can confidently say that because my fiance and I were taking a walk late one night in a park when we saw a coyote a few weeks ago. I do want to take a moment to pause and say, although the footage you're about to see is not disturbing at all, it is very blurry, and I apologize. Adding to the number of coyote sightings there's been in Chicago, I was actually on the Red Line yesterday when we were passing the Graceland Cemetery and I saw another coyote. Do I have footage of this coyote? No, because at this point, coyotes are already so integrated in our society, it's like an everyday occurrence. Nothing special to record there. With all this being said, I do have one observation I would like to take note of. When researching the coyote incident, I learned that it is coyote mating season from January to March. When thinking about where the coyotes are spotted, I realized a pattern. They're always in locations that are notorious for cruising. The park, the cemetery, and the grocery store. I do think the coyote made a wrong turn in Aldi and intended to go into the bathroom for a little foot under the stall door action, but nevertheless, these coyotes are in heat. In other news, the Detroit Lions played last night and lost. Historically speaking, I am not a sports fan, but as of late, I decided it could be fun to cheer alongside others instead of stare through the TV like I'm trying to burn a hole through it. Is it a coincidence that this year was also the Lions' best year since? Well, I don't actually know, because when I tried to Google when was the last time the Lions were this good, it gave me a bunch of different dates and I couldn't figure it out. One said 1991, another said 2016, and another one said never. So, reading between the lines, the performance of a team is subjective. I have learned, though, that football can be fun. It's all about finding what makes it interesting for you. For me personally, it's the football player's thighs. Will I be watching the Super Bowl this year? Likely not, as Beyonce has already performed at a football game this year, and especially not if Tom Brady's going to be staring at me with his sunken twink face. That man scares me. In other news, I believe skinny scarves are making a comeback. I say this as I went out to Logan Square this weekend and I saw a number of people wearing these thin, useless scarves around their necks. If you weren't aware, Logan Square is Chicago's mecca of alternative fashion. To illustrate what everyone was wearing in Logan Square, imagine this. Everyone is still dressing like it's Brat Summer, but they have realized it's gotten cold and threw a leather jacket on to slightly adjust to the weather change. For some reason, I never hopped on the Brat Summer wave. I think there are two reasons predominantly. The first one being that I am more of a swag era guy. So think big block text graphic tees, shutter sunglasses, if we can even call them that at all, and a Cookie Monster hat. The other reason I didn't hop on the Brat Summer wave is to me it screamed hyper-consumerism and I just did not want to entertain that. Sure, that I have no articles of clothing in my closet that screamed Brat Summer. Therefore, I assumed everyone else didn't either and had to go out and buy these clothes and further fuel the beast of fast fashion. As I say that out loud, it makes me sound like a hater, and I'm not trying to be. So let's backtrack a little bit. When I think about the early 2010 hipster, I get absolutely crushed by nostalgia. I love that era. But if I was my age then, would I view these hipsters the same way I'm viewing the Brat Summer folk? I think so. My conclusion is this. Being a hater isn't fun. It's best to join in on the fun any way you can. And for that reason, I'm wearing my lion shirt, and I will be cutting up the scarf into eighths. I really must think the world is coming to an end shortly because I've listened to so much nostalgic music over the last few days. Starting off the list, in no particular order, is M83's 2011 Hurry Up We're Dreaming album. This album has been on repeat, especially when I was making the intro for this show. A song I particularly like is, forgive me on the butchering of this, Raccontami una History. I probably pronounced that horribly. There's a restaurant in Chicago called Mon Amiga B, and for about 2 weeks prior to the reservation, when I was telling everyone at work about where I was about to eat, I was pronouncing it Manabagabi. So, the next album on my list is Fun's 2012 Some Night album. This album sounds exactly like middle school does. The self-titled track, Some Nights, has a completely new meaning to me. I'm not sure what it meant to me in middle school, but what it means to me now is, I imagine, something completely different than it does back then, especially after going through the corporate machine for a few years now. The last album I wanted to highlight was Kesha's 2012 Warrior album. This album had a chokehold on me, oh my god, 12 years ago. That's literally half a lifetime ago for me. Wow. I really want Come On to be the final song played at my wedding. But I don't know if everyone knows the words to that. It might just be me and a few other gays at the wedding singing along. So, TBD. I will leave you all with this. Last night, I had a very boring dream that zombies became a reality. Normally, dreams about zombies are the opposite of boring and absolutely terrifying, but this one was pretty unique. People were getting sick from eating dog food and becoming zombies, and instead of becoming hyperspeed zombies like you would typically imagine, these zombies were miserably slow, walking instead of chasing you and gnawing on victims rather than violently tearing them apart with their teeth. I always try to understand where my dreams come from, like what could have triggered such a dream. And I think it's because of the bird flu and everything I've been reading about it. If you weren't aware, to my knowledge, bird flu is transmitted to humans by humans handling sick birds. How do I fall into this? Well, on my bike the other day, I ran over a flattened bird on the street. So, I've clearly been thinking about it a lot. I hope to see you guys next week. If not, the birds got me.